The bright lights of the space station shone against the darkness of space. Jack Mason looked out the ship's small window as it approached the massive structure. His heart beat faster. That was it. The first official meeting between humans and a galactic concord. Nervous? Asked Paul Wright, the space shuttle pilot. A little, Jack admitted. Wouldn't you be? We're about to meet 7 different alien species. Jack straightened his dark blue uniform. As Earth's chief diplomat, he carried the hopes of all humanity on his shoulders. The discovery of galactic concord 4 months ago changed everything. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. The ship docked with a slight jolt. Jack gathered his tablet and his notes. Behind him, his team of 5 other diplomats checked their equipment for the last time. Remember, Jack told them, we represent the entire Earth. Stay calm. Be respectful. But don't let them pressure us. The airlock door opened. 3 aliens waited on the other side. One of them was tall and slender, with blue skin that seemed to glow. Another was shorter, with 4 arms and gray scales. The third one looked almost like a giant insect with compound eyes. The blue alien stepped forward. Welcome to the harmony of the season. I am Ambassador Creel of the Alterance. We speak for agreement in these discussions. Jack bowed slightly. Thanks for the welcome. I am Jack Mason, representing Earth and all human colonies. The aliens led them through wide corridors. Jack noticed how other aliens stopped to look at the humans. Some whispered to each other. He heard clicks and buzzes that must have been foreign languages. They entered a large round room with a circular table. Representatives of all 7 major species stood waiting. Jack didn't recognize any of them in the briefing files. The Vordax were enormous creatures with thick, armor-like skin. The Macaries looked like elegant birds with long necks. The others were equally strange and wonderful. Please precede, Creel said, pointing to empty chairs. When Jack sat down, he noticed that the chairs were a little too big for humans. It was a small thing, but it made him feel like a kid at the adults' table. We are pleased that Earth has joined the galactic community, said a Vordax representative. His voice was deep and booming. As a young species, you have a lot to learn. Concord will guide your development. Jack smiled politely. We are eager to learn, but the Earth has its rich history and culture. We hope to contribute and also learn. A faint wave of what could have been fun passed through the aliens. Of course, Macari said, his voice musical. All species bring something to the harmony, even the youngest ones. Over the next few hours, they discussed trade, technology sharing, and territorial borders. Jack noticed how the aliens always spoke of humans as developing or emerging beings, never as equals. Susan Howard, Jack's assistant, leaned toward him. They're treating us like children, she whispered. I know, Jack whispered back. But for now, we learn what we can. 3 weeks passed. Negotiations continued every day. The humans were provided with housing at the station. Jack found the aliens' attitudes frustrating, but progress was being made. Earth would have access to faster-than-light travel technologies and medical advances. In return, the agreement wanted access to Earth's unique biological diversity and cultural archives. Then came the message from Earth. Sir, said Susan, entering Jack's chambers late at night. His face was pale. We lost contact with the Proxima colony. Jack straightened up. What do you mean by contact perdido? Complete silence for 12 hours now. And before that, there were reports of unknown ships in the system. Jack frowned. It could be a solar flare or equipment failure. Maybe, Susan said. But General Carter thinks otherwise. She says it matches the pattern of 3 other outposts that went silent last week. Jack felt a shiver. He had not been informed about other outposts. Going silent. Mark me uma reunio com o ambassador Creel. Jack said first. Thing tomorrow. Susan nodded and left. Jack turned to look out the window at the stars. Something wasn't right, and he was beginning to suspect that Concordia's friendly reception might be hiding something much darker. Jack paced the small meeting room, waiting for Ambassador Creel. 3 months have passed since negotiations began. At that time, he learned to read some alien expressions. He hoped this skill would help him now. The door opened. Creel entered with 2 Vodax representatives. Diplomat Mason, said Creel. You have requested an urgent meeting. Jack nodded. Thanks for coming. We have lost all contact with our colony on Proxima Centauri B. The aliens exchanged glances. Jack noticed a subtle movement that seemed practiced. Communications equipment fails, said one of the Vordax. His name was Groff. especially with primitive systems. Jack kept his face calm despite the insult. Our systems are not primitive by our standards. And this is the fourth colony to fall silent in 2 weeks. Perhaps solar activity, suggested Creel. Or maybe pirates. The outer regions can be dangerous. Pirates? Jack asked. You never mentioned pirates during our discussions about safe travel routes. Creel's blue skin rippled slightly. There are always risks in space. Concord cannot control all sectors. Jack didn't believe him. Something felt wrong. We would like to send ships to check our colonies, said Jack. Of course, Groff said it too quickly. Although I advise waiting. Your ships are fragile compared to what might be out there. After the meeting, Jack returned to the human quarters. His team waited for his report. They're hiding something, Jack told them. Susan, what did you find in the Concord databases? Susan Howard activated her tablet. Not a lot. They restrict our access. But I found references to something called species testing in some older files. Species tests. Just ask Greg Baker, the team's cultural expert. What does this mean? I don't know, Susan said. But it was mentioned along with other new members of the agreement. Always in the first year of contact. Jack frowned. Keep digging. And we need to talk to Earth. Later that night, Jack used the secure comm line to speak with General Carter on Earth. It's worse than we thought, Carter said. His face on the screen looked tired. 6 colonies now, not just 4. We have sent ships to investigate, but they will take weeks to arrive. Concord is lying to us, Jack said. I'm sure of that. We think so too, Carter replied. We are analyzing their technology from the first contact. There's something strange. Its weapons systems seem designed to be seen, not just to be effective. What do you mean? E como se els estivessem se exhibindo. Making sure we know how powerful they are. Jack thought about it. As a warning? Exactly, said Carter. In the meantime, keep playing well. Learn what you can. The next day, a new person joined Jack's team. Her name was Diane Calloway. She wore civilian clothing, but Jack recognized a military stance. General Carter sent me, she said when they were alone. I'm here to help gather information. Do you think Concord is behind the attacks? Jack asked. Diana nodded. We intercepted some communications. The attacks follow a pattern. They are testing our response times, our defenses. Which species? Jack asked. Mainly the Vordax, but the Makari are also involved. Others may not even know. Jack went to the window, looking at the stars. Why not attack Earth directly if that's their goal? They don't want a war with everyone, Diane explained, just to make sure we know our place. Colonies are small. Easy targets. So what do we do? Keep negotiating, Diane said. Act like we don't know. Meanwhile, Earth is preparing. Jack turned to her. Preparing how? Diane smiled slightly. Let's just say we learn more from their technology than they think we did. A soft beeping came from Jack's tablet. A message from Susan. I need to see you now. I found something big. Jack looked at Diane. Let's see what she found. As they walked through the halls of the station, Jack noticed more alien eyes. Watching them, the friendly facade was starting to crack. The question now was how long they needed to maintain their own pretense of ignorance and what Earth was planning behind the scenes. Susan's quarters were filled with displays showing maps and star data. When Jack and Diane entered, she quickly closed the door behind them. I had to break into your secure systems, Susan said in a low voice. If they catch me, we'll have a diplomatic problem. What did you find? Jack asked. Susan tapped the screen. A map appeared showing the human colony worlds. Red dots marked the silent colonies. See the pattern, she said. They are moving inward, closer and closer to Earth. Diane studied the map. It's a standard military approach. Test the outer defenses first and then move inward. There's more, Susan said. She opened a file with alien text. I found this on the Vodax military database. It's a report on the attack on Proxima. You can read their language. Jack asked, surprised. Susan nodded. I have been learning. This report talks about minimum resistance and successful resource assessment. So it was them. Jack said, his face grim. They are attacking our colonies while sitting across from us at the negotiating table. It gets worse. Susan continued. I found references to something called the New Species Protocol. It's happened before, with other races. She showed them more files. Photos of reported attacks on other alien worlds. Concord, or at least some of its members, do this with all new species, Susan explained. They test them militarily while pretending to welcome them. Why? Jack asked. To see if they are worth respecting, said Diane. Or whether they can simply be assumed. Jack's tablet beeped with a message. It was from Ambassador Creel, requesting his presence at an emergency meeting. They know, said Jack. They know we discovered something. Go to the meeting, advised Diane. Act normally. We need more time. Jack nodded and left. As he walked through the halls of the station, he noticed more security guards than usual. The atmosphere had changed. The meeting room only had 3 people waiting. Creel, Vortex Growth, and a McCurry representative named Valera. Diplomat Mason, said Creel. We have news about your colonies. Jack kept his face neutral. Oh, it looks like there were some unfortunate incidents, Creel said. Pirate activity. As we suspected. Pirates, Jack repeated. Yes, Growth boomed. Very unfortunate, but perhaps a good lesson about the dangers of space. A lesson. Jack couldn't help the tone in his voice. Valera, the bird like McCurry, tilted his head. All new species must learn how dangerous the galaxy can be. How important is protection? Protection. From the Concord, you want Deezer. The 3 aliens exchanged glances. The Earth is small, Groth said. Its technology is basic. Its armed forces are limited. Concord offers guidance and protection to developing species. Now Jack understood. This wasn't just a test. It was extortion. Attack the colonies. Then offer protection, which really means control. I see. Jack said carefully. What if we refuse this protection? That would be reckless, Creel said. Very reckless. Back at the human quarters, Jack shared what he had learned with his team. They're not even denying it anymore, he said. They are just calling it pirate activity while insinuating that we need their protection. Standard colonization tactic, Diane said. Create a threat, then offer to resolve it for a price. What is our next step? Greg asked. Jack was about to answer when his secure line rang. It was General Carter again. Jack, she said as his face appeared on the screen. How much do they know about Earth's defenses? Just what we told them, Jack replied. Which isn't much. Carter nodded. Good. Keep it that way. We have detected a large fleet of ships heading towards our solar system. Vordax mainly designed it. An invasion force, Diane said. Yes, Carter confirmed. But we are ready for them. The Guardian Project is complete. Guardian Project? Jack asked. Carter smiled slightly. Let's just say that Earth hasn't stood still since first contact. We have learned. What do you need us to do? Jack asked. Keep them talking, Carter said. And be ready. Within 3 days, you will need to call an emergency session of the entire Concordia Assembly. For what? To make a statement, Carter said. One the entire galaxy will hear. Over the next 2 days, Jack and his team worked to learn as much as possible about the Concord's true plans. Susan continued to hack into his databases while Diane studied his military backgrounds. Gray analyzed cultural archives to better understand the alien mindset. It's all about resources, Greg explained during the private meeting. Earth has something they want. What? Jack asked. Water, minerals, biological diversity. Greg counted on his fingers. But mostly, they would want human labor. Slaves, Diane said flatly. Greg nodded. They had done this before. The Lorians were the last species welcomed into Concordia. Now they work in mines in Vordax space. Jack shook his head in disgust. And the other members of Concord simply allow it. Some benefit from this, Susan said, looking up from her computer. Others are too afraid to speak. The Vordax and McCary have the largest fleets. Jack's tablet beeped with an incoming message. It was from Frank Miller, administrator of the New Coke colony, who went silent 2 weeks ago. He's alive, Jack said, quickly opening the message. Frank's face appeared tired and hurt. This is Administrator Miller from New Hope. I'm sending this through 7 different relay points, so I hope the Vordax can't track it. They attacked without warning. We disable our communications first, and then attack our power grid. They are exploiting the planet now, taking our resources. They captured most of the settlers for labor relocation. I managed to escape with a few others. We are collecting evidence of what they are doing. I'm sending it now. This isn't just happening to us. They reached all the colonies in this sector. God help us all. The message ended, followed by a flood of data files. Images of Vordax ships attacking human settlements. Videos of colonists marching on transport ships. Sensor readings from used weapons. That's it, said Diane. Concrete evidence of their attacks. Send this to plow the Earth immediately, Jack ordered. General Carter needs to see this. An hour later, Carter called back on the secure line. We received Miller's files, she said. This changes things. We are advancing the schedule. The Vordax fleet will reach our external range of sensors tomorrow. And the Guardian project? Jack asked. Carter smiled. It's ready. It's been weeks. We just needed confirmation of their hostile intent before activating it. These files give us that. What exactly is Project Guardian? Jack asked. Carter hesitated. After first contact, we analyzed every piece of alien technology we could find. We learned their weaknesses, your blind spots. We are building a defense network unlike anything they have ever seen. They think we're primitive, Jack realized. Exactly, said Carter. And that is our advantage. Request the emergency session for tomorrow, when their fleet is positioned close to Earth. The next morning, Jack formally requested an emergency session with the entire Concord assembly. To his surprise, Groth immediately agreed. Of course, Diplomat Mason. The Vordax representatives said with what appeared to be a smile on their reptilian face. Concord always listens to the concerns of its newest members. Jack nodded politely, hiding his thoughts. Groth was confident, too confident. He believed that the Vordax fleet was about to reach Earth unopposed. Thanks, Jack said. I believe this matter concerns all Concord members. Word spread quickly through the station. An emergency session called by humans. There was no precedent for a new species to request such a thing. Representatives of 32 different species began arriving at the Great Assembly Hall. They are curious, Susan whispered as they watched the aliens enter the chamber. Most of them don't know what the Vordax have been up to. They will soon, said Jack. His tablet beeped with a message from Earth. 2 words from General Carter. Active Guardian. Jack took a deep breath and nodded to his team. It was time to show the galaxy that humans were not the easy prey the Vordax thought them to be. As Jack walked toward the lecture platform, he felt the weight of all humanity on his shoulders. What would happen in the next few minutes would determine humanity's place in the galaxy for centuries to come. Concord's Grand Assembly Hall vibrated with the sounds of many alien species conversing at once. Clicks, whistles, bangs, and translated words filled the air. Jack stood calmly in the center of the speaking platform. Behind him, Susan worked on connecting the presentation to the hall's display systems. Are you ready? Diane whispered from her position near the wall. Jack nodded slightly. He looked at the Growth and the other Vordax representatives. They looked smug, their scaly skin glistening under the lights. They thought this was just a formality before their fleet arrived at Earth. Creel approached the platform. The emergency session called by Earth is now open. Diplomat Mason, you have the floor. Jack took a step forward. The room fell silent. Thank you, Ambassador Creel. Concord representatives, I come before you today with grave news. In recent weeks, human colonies have been attacked. Our people were killed or taken. Our stolen resources. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The Vordax shifted in their seats but remained silent. These attacks follow a pattern. Jack continued, a pattern some of you may recognize in your own story. He waved at Susan. The large screen behind him came to life, showing images from Miller's archives. Alien ships shooting at human settlements, buildings on fire, people running in terror. These aren't pirates, Jack said firmly. These are Vordax warships, sometimes accompanied by McCurry reconnaissance ships. The room exploded. Some species screamed in rage. Others turned to look at the Vordax representatives. Groff stood up. This is absurd. These are inventions. Humans are trying to gain sympathy with false claims. Jack raised his hand. We have more evidence. The screen changed to show Frank Miller's face. My name is Frank Miller. Recording started. I was the administrator of the New Hope colony until the Vordax attacked us 10 days ago. This is not an invention. This is our reality. The recording continued, showing Miller's escape and the evidence he gathered. When he finished, the room was quieter than before. A different kind of silence filled the space. The silence of shock. The Vordax and McCurry have been systematically attacking our colonies, Jack said, as they pretended to welcome us on the Concord. A representative of a small furry species stood up. They did the same to us 80 years ago. We lost 3 worlds before we surrendered. Another alien, tall and thin, with fair skin, stood up. And for us, 2 centuries have passed. We thought we were alone in this treatment. More voices joined. More stories of the same pattern. The Vordax became increasingly agitated. Enough, Growth roared. These are the complaints of weak species. The galaxy belongs to the strong. Is that your official position? Representative Growth. Jack asked calmly. Growth's eyes narrowed. My position is that Earth will soon understand its place in the galaxy. Even now, our fleet approaches your homeworld. Perhaps we should continue this discussion after you feel the power of the Vordak military. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Such a direct threat violated all principles of the Concord Protocols. Jack smiled. It was the opening he had been waiting for. You are referring to the fleet of 27 warships currently at the edge of our solar system. Growth looked surprised. You know them? We do, said Jack. He waved at Susan again. The display changed to show real-time images from near-Earth space. The Vordak ships were clearly visible, moving into attack formation. We've been tracking them since they entered our outer sensor range, Jack explained, as well as monitoring your communications with them. Growth's face darkened. It doesn't matter. Your primitive defenses are no match for our technology. The Earth will fall, and this useless discussion will end. As if on cue, Jack's tablet beeped with an incoming message. He looked down and then looked at the Growth with a steady gaze. I think you might want to see what happens next, Jack said, pointing to the screen. The room fell silent as all eyes turned to the screen, watching the Vordak fleet approach Earth. On the big screen, the Vordak ships approached Earth. Their weapons systems activated, visible as glowing dots on their hulls. The assembly watched in silence. Some aliens looked away, not wanting to see the destruction of another world. Growth smiled, his sharp teeth shining. Watch and learn the price of the challenge. Jack remained calm. He checked his tablet again, reading updates from General Carter. The lead Vordak ship fired the first shot. A bright beam of energy was launched towards Earth. Then something unexpected happened. The beam hit an invisible barrier and scattered into harmless light. Confused murmurs spread throughout the meeting hall. Growth's smile disappeared. One by one, small objects appeared around the Vordak fleet. They've been there the whole time, hidden by advanced camouflage technology. Human defense satellites, hundreds of them, surrounding the alien ships. What is this thing? Groff demanded. Project Guardian, Jack said simply. The satellites have been activated. Not with gunfire, but with energy fields that enveloped each Vordak ship. The alien ship slowed, and then came to a complete stop. Its lights flickered and went out. What have you done? Growth roared. Disabled their ships. Jack explained, we targeted their power systems with an electromagnetic pulse designed specifically for Vordak's technology. Your ships are now floating metal boxes. No weapons. No engines. No communications. The assembly erupted into shocking conversations. The Vordaks were known for their advanced shields. No one has been able to penetrate them before. Impossible. McCurry's Valera shouted. Human technology is primitive. Jack turned to face her. Is that really, or is that exactly what you wanted to believe? Susan changed the view again. This time it showed human scientists working on alien technology, taking it apart, studying it, and improving it. When you make first contact with the species, Jack explained to the assembly, do you really think they show you everything they can do? Earth has a long history of war and deceit. We learned a long time ago to keep our true abilities hidden. Another image appeared on the screen. Admiral Olivia Morgan stood on the bridge of a human warship. Behind her, a fleet of ships unlike any the aliens had ever seen before. This is Admiral Morgan of the Earth Defense Force, she said. Vordak's fleet was neutralized without casualties. Their crews are unharmed, but are unable to operate their vessels. We are now moving forward to rescue our citizens from the occupied colonies. Groff banged his fist on the table. This is an act of war. The Vordak Empire will not tolerate this humiliation. Jack turned to face him directly. You attacked us first, Representative Groff. You attacked our colonies, killed our people, and now you are trying to attack our home world. We just defend ourselves. With technology, you shouldn't have done that. Groff growled. With the technology we developed, Jack fixed it. Yes, we studied yours. We learned from this. But Project Guardian is man-made, using principles that its scientists ignored. More images appeared on the screen. Human ships were now visible near several colony worlds. They passed Vordak's decommissioned ships, heading towards the planets. We have been monitoring your actions since the first contact. Jack continued. We suspected his true intentions from the beginning. After all, the Vordak have a reputation. Now we confirm this. Jack turned to address the entire assembly. Earth did not come here today, just to expose the Vordak's attacks. We came to show the galaxy that humans are not easy prey. We will defend ourselves. We will protect our people. A representative of a small, insect-like species stood up. The Krill Confederacy would like to establish direct diplomatic relations with Earth outside of Concord's oversight. Another alien stood up. The Tellarian Union, too. More voices joined. The species that had suffered under Vordak's influence now saw a potential ally in humanity. Krill attempted to restore order, but the assembly descended into chaos. The Vordak delegation left furious, followed by Makari. Other species gathered in small groups, chatting animatedly. Through it all, Jack remained calm. He caught Susan's eye and nodded slightly. The first phase has been completed. Earth had proven its worth. Now came the hard part, reshaping the balance of power across the galaxy. Jack watched as Krill fought to regain control of the assembly. The blue-skinned alien was sweating, his glow turning into a dull glow. This wasn't how things were supposed to happen. The Vordak assured him that Earth was treated in silence. Order, Krill called, his voice lost in the noise. We must have order. Jack caught Diane's eye from across the room. She nodded slightly. It was time for the next phase. Krill Ambassador, Jack said, his voice cutting through the noise. The room began to grow silent. I haven't finished my presentation yet. Krill seemed relieved at Jack's help in restoring order. Yes, of course. Diplomat Mason, please continue. Jack returned to the center of the platform. The room was completely silent now, all eyes on the human. Even those species that were talking to each other turned to listen. What I have shown today is evidence of attacks on human colonies, Jack said. But there is something more important I need to say. He paused, looking around the room, meeting the eyes of representatives from dozens of worlds. You attacked our home. The simple words hung in the air. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The galaxy, it seemed, held its breath. Not just Vordaks, Jack continued. Not just the Makari, but the Concord itself. An institution that claims to welcome new species while allowing the strong to prey for the weak. He waved at Susan. The screen changed again, showing images from other worlds. Other species that suffered similar fates. We found this in your own files, Jack explained. Records of 27 other species that joined Concord in the last millennium. All tested. All attacked. Some survived and became members. Others were enslaved or destroyed. A wave of discomfort passed through the assembly. Humans have a long and bloody history. Jack continued. For thousands of years, we fought each other. Nation against nation. Ideology against ideology. We almost destroyed ourselves more than once, but we learned from our mistakes. We come together. We grow up. The screen showed images from human history. Ancient battles. Modern wars. And finally, the United Earth government. We know the conflict. We understand power. And we know bullies when we see them. Jack turned to the representatives of the lesser species, those who suffered under the rule of the Vordaks. Earth did not come to the stars looking for war. We came in search of friends, allies, partners. But we will not be victims. We will not allow our people to be enslaved. And we will not stand by while others suffer the same fate. Jack waved at Susan again. The display changed one last time, showing the faces of human colonists who had been captured, including children. These are our people, our families. While we were talking about peace here, they suffered. This ends today. He turned to address the entire assembly. Earth is officially withdrawing from Concord membership negotiations. Gasps filled the room. No species has ever rejected Concord. Instead, we offer the following. Earth will establish a new alliance, based on mutual respect and protection. Any species that wishes to join us will be welcomed as equals. Anyone wishing to continue under Concord government may do so. Jack looked directly at where the Vordaks was. And for those who think they can prey for others because of their military might, I have this warning. We are watching. We are ready. And we will respond. The silence that followed was deeper than before. It was the silence of a galaxy realizing that everything had changed. An elderly representative of one of Concord's oldest species slowly stood up. His thin body looked fragile, but his voice was strong. I have lived 900 years, she said. I've seen many species come and go, but I've never seen so much courage from someone so new to the stars. The Eldar will take Earth. One by one, other representatives stood up, each pledging their support. The alliance was forming before their eyes. Jack felt a weight lifted from his shoulders. Earth would not be alone. 1 months later, Jack was in a new meeting room on Earth's first deep space station, Unity. Around him sat representatives of 17 ancient Concord species. They all joined what was now called the Terran Alliance. Rescue operations are almost complete. Admiral Morgan reported. Your image filled the main screen. We have recovered over 90% of the human colonists captured by the vortex. The rest, she paused. We're still looking. Jack nodded gravely. And the colonies? Reconstruction has begun, Morgan said. With the help of our new allies, everything is happening faster than expected. A tall, green-skinned representative named Zilch spoke. My people sent engineers to help in New Hope. It's the least we could do. The vortex took over 3 of our worlds 50 years ago. Speaking of vortex, Diane said, our intelligence reports that they are returning to their core systems. They abandoned outposts in 12 sectors. They fear retaliation, said Elder Thorn of the Elder. His ancient eyes contained a spark of satisfaction. For the first time in 5 centuries, the vortex is unafraid. Jack looked around the table. We did not form this alliance out of revenge. No, Thorn agreed. But for a long time, the strong preyed on the weak in this galaxy. That time is running out. The doors opened, and Susan entered. She had been promoted to head of Earth's interstellar communications. Ambassador Mason, she said, smiling at Jack's new title. Concord sent a formal message. They wished to open diplomatic relations with the Terran Alliance. Murmurs spread around the table. Some seemed satisfied, others suspicious. And who represents Concord now? Jack asked. Ambassador Creel has been replaced. Susan says a cashier named Voss is the new speaker. Jack nodded. The Tellarans were known for their justice. It was a good sign. Tell them we'll meet in a neutral space, Jack said. We are willing to talk, but as equals, not as supplicants. When the meeting ended, Jack walked to the observation deck. The Earth glowed blue and white below. Ships from a dozen worlds moved in careful patterns around the station. Some were merchant ships, others diplomatic shuttles. Greg joined him at the window. Quite a view. Hard to believe it has only been 4 months since the first contact. Jack said. 4 months and a complete reshuffling of galactic politics. Greg laughed. Not bad for a primitive species. Jack smiled. Vodax made a mistake. They judged us by our technology. It's not our nature. A costly mistake, Greg agreed. There's a saying that goes around the old Concord worlds now. Never assume that humans are defenseless. You are just waiting to see what you will do. Jack's tablet beeped with a message. It was from Frank Miller, now leading the reconstruction of the New Hope colony. Ambassador Mason, Miller's message began. You should see what we built here. With the help of Zilch engineers, we created something better than before. The colony is thriving. People are calling this the Phoenix Project. Rising from the ashes stronger than ever. When can we expect a visit from Earth's famous diplomat? Jack smiled as he read. That's why they fought. Not just to survive, but to build something better. A young aide approached. Ambassador, your transportation to the Concord meeting is ready. Jack nodded. Thank you, I'll be right there. He took one last look at Earth. Their home, the home they defended. As he turned to leave, he thought about how much had changed since that moment at the Concord Assembly, when the galaxy fell silent. Humans entered the galactic stage as newcomers, seen as weak and primitive. Now they led an alliance of worlds, respected and even feared by those who previously despised them. All because they refused to be victims. All because they were prepared. All because, when pressured, they backed down. Jack smiled to himself as he boarded the bus. The galaxy has learned an important lesson. Earth may be young among the stars, but humanity is not to be underestimated. And now, as they moved into this new era of galactic politics, Jack was certain of one thing. Humanity's future among the stars was just beginning.